If you're watching this video right now, you probably think about replacing your old water heater with a hybrid water heater like this to save money. The question is it really worth it? I live in Florida, so for my location, it really makes sense to do it to save money. In this video, I'm gonna talk about if it's really worth it, depending on your location. Before you even consider replacing your current water heater with the hybrid ones, one thing is very important to consider: where you live. I live in Florida, so hybrid water heater works kind of like an AC. It takes the hot and the moist air on the intake on top, and it blows colder over here. All the hot air and moisture gets converted into the energy that heats up the water tank inside. So, of course, if you live in Alaska or in really cold climate, that type of water heater is not gonna be really efficient. So, in order for you to warm up the water, what's gonna take me probably half an hour, it may take a couple of hours more up north. So, this is one thing to consider. Another thing very important is that there are totally different connections on this water heater compared with the standard one. My old water heater, like most of your water heaters, have connections on the top. So if you switch to a regular water heater, all you have to do is just take the connections on top of the water heater, and within 15 minutes basically you can just swap water heater on and off. This one has a totally weird connections. Everything is on the side. So before you decide to install a water heater like this, make sure that you have enough space to do it. Because I had to go and redo all my plumbing, and of course if you cannot do it yourself, you need to hire somebody. Will may cost you probably even like $3, maybe even more, $100. And then let's say if you want to cool some small area, you can put a duct over it and you can take it somewhere else. So that's another option, but really it makes more sense to do it in warmer climates than in colder ones. Now I'm gonna go over some numbers so you can see whether actually it's going to be worth spending so much money on it. I bought my water heater in end of September of last year. I got it delivered in October, and at the time I paid about $1,000 because every couple of months Home Depot has a sale. So from $13.49, I have 40-gallon tank. I paid about $1,000. Also, at the time when I was buying that water heater, there was a $300 tax rebate. So wait for a good time to buy it, and you may get this 40-gallon tank for about $1,000. I think this year the tax credit is going to be about $200, not $300. So you can lower the price of this water heater. Now, if you wanted to look at the numbers, so the cost of this Rheem water heater was, for me at least, $1,000. If you want to buy it without any discounts, it's $13.50 for 40 gallons. Install is gonna cost you probably $300. If you can do it yourself, then that's $300 in your pocket. At the time I got a tax credit, so basically my cost was about $700. So if you get it at retail with no discounts, it will cost you about $1,700. If we talk about the cost of electricity, in Florida, it cost me about 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and my average usage is about 60 to 80 kilowatt hours per month, which calculates to about $6 to $8 per month just for the water heater. And I can show you some examples. As you can see on the left screen, you can see that in January, for example, I spent about 80 kilowatt hours for the entire month. Of course, now you can see through the graph, because this Rheem water heater is a really good app, you can see how the usage changes depending on a day. And I remember that on those days when I can see the usage going up to almost 4.9, those were really cold days where water heater had to work a little bit harder, and at some occasions I could see that on top of just the energy mode, which uses only the heat pump, the water heater was turning on just pure simple electric element. So then if you run on electric instead of on hybrid, then your water heater uses a little bit more energy. So you can see I was using about 80 kilowatt hours. Now if you want to look at the month by month usage, you can see that in 2020 I was using, let's say, between 60 to 80 kilowatt hours per month. And here on the right side you can see that in January, February, March, almost the same. So 80 and 60 was the lowest kilowatt per hours. Coming back to this comparison, so if you compare the Rheem water heater to regular electric water heater, so now you can see that yearly it will cost me about $96 to run this water heater. There are only 2 people in my household, so when you have more people, probably you will spend a little bit more. So comparing a Rheem water heater to electric one, pure electric will cost you probably around $400 per year. So in 5 years, it will cost me $480. In about 10 years, it's gonna cost me about $1,000 to run this water heater. So we have savings of $300, $1,500, and within 10 years, $3,000 between a hybrid water heater and electric ones. So for my situation, if you buy the water heater for about $1,000, the savings will give me return in about 3 to 3.5 years. If you buy it fully retail, I'm comparing $1,700. It will take about 6 years for you to get all the money back that you put into the water heater. One thing to remember is that a lot of people do not do any maintenance on the water heaters. If you want to prolong your life of water heater to, I would say, easily 20 years, if you flush it yearly and you check your anode route every 2 or 3 years, you can prolong the life of the water heater to, I would say, easily double. So if you consider doing that, and the anode rods cost about maybe $20, I'll give you the link to the good website where I buy anode rods. You need to calculate if it's worth for you. Those calculations are based on what I paid. And to answer the question, was it really worth it? I would say yes, and definitely yes. On top of saving the money, I have a cooler garage. Of course, this hybrid water heater doesn't work all the time. It turns on and off. But I remember in October and November when there's a lot of humid in my garage, normally, I didn't have as much, and it was much colder, and there was less humid in my garage. So that's not a benefit of having a hybrid water heater. So just to summarize, is it really worth it? Definitely yes. I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.